Okay, good. Now we'll just go to actually this SharePoint, right? We'll have once I go to Jira. So we'll talk about this Jira actually pretty quick after two classes, maybe that will be seventh class. So at that time, I'll talk about this Confluence and the SharePoint. Okay, so we're also having some homework on that one too. Okay, so today we'll see about various documents that you will be working on, or you might be having access. Although in agile they're slowly trying to remove these documents. They're trying to remove all the documentation part, and they're slowly removing and making it a user story. No, this is one line statement. You only have to do this, but it's still not completely possible to remove everything, because there will be some traditional way of doing, because the reason being someone got new hired, or some they have to understand what's the business, what's going on, and what's actually the processes and how the flow is and all those things. So you really cannot remove everything, but still you need to know. Okay, so you need to know a lot of things. Okay, so let's go, start one by one here. So there is something called BRD. So this is called Business Requirement Document. Okay, so what does it contain? Okay, okay, good. So this BRD is, it contains 10 to 20% of use cases, business modeling, risk analysis, and budget information. So all this information, it contains in BRD, okay, Business Required Document. So let's see pretty quick how does that document really looks like. You want to see that document, right? Because if you have not seen it, you don't know what's really BRD and how does it make difference to FRD, SRS, and so on. So you really need to know how the document is, and how does it look like. So you know what? Hopefully by today, end of the day, you'll be getting access to this Google Drive, and you can have this access, and you can view a lot of documents. There's a lot of information there. You can check it out whenever you're free. Okay. So let's see pretty quick here. So this, Google Drive has a lot of information. Okay, for your, how this project is, and all those things. So let's quickly check. Go to testing documents. So you'll be getting access for this, okay, Google Drive. Okay, so let's see pretty quick here. Here there is, oops, I don't think it's good. Sorry. This is actually large documents, 48 MB, but still it's coming out good. So here, this is requirement document. So you know what? This is not like one or two pages. This contains like it's almost a booklet. Not even booklet. You can call it as a book. Okay, complete book. And you know what? You have to go through all this. Okay, you need to understand what's the. So this is BRD. So what is BRD? Business Required Document. Okay, what does it contains? It contains 10 to 20% of use cases, business modeling, risk analysis, and budget. It's a high-level document. Okay, it's a high-level document, and this contains a lot of information. If you see here, keep moving my mouse, and there's a lot of information coming here. Okay, so although you may not always understand this document at once, you need to refer many times, not one, not twice, not thrice. You need to keep on referring until you get it. Okay, so that's a requirement document, and it's not just prepared for testing. No, it's for testing. No, I'll go and read this. No, that doesn't work that way. This BRD document is prepared, keeping everyone on mind, right? You have Scrum Master, you have business analyst, you have developer, you have architect, you have QA, you have lead, testing lead, okay, you have manager. So a lot of people are involved in here, not just one or two people, okay. It's not just about one or two people or about you, it's about everyone. So that's the reason you may not, understand this document at once, because a lot of people have a lot of responsibilities. Each people have their own responsibilities. So, so how can you understand this really by, if you see this, there's some underline, right? So if you want to understand that concept, the reason being, it's useful to write your test cases. So based on this, you have to write your test cases. Now, always you may not be lucky to have, so since in this class we refer this website, since the website was ready, we have all this ready, so we wrote test cases based on the application. Now that's really not going to happen every time. Don't expect cakewalk, okay. There is no cakewalk. You need to you need to understand the document to write the test cases, okay. Now, so this is how BRD looks like, okay. So this is so this is a high level document. Okay, so let's go to the next topic. This is a FRD, this functional requirement document. So, really what's the difference between BRD and FRD is functional required document contains functionality of an application. That means it will contain functional features, what are the features, and all those things. BRD is more related for ETL perspective, okay, because there's no functionality there. You have backend processing and a lot of backend data, okay. So there's a lot of things coming on. So you want to see, the backend process. So in that case, you want to refer BRD. And let's check FRD. So, okay. So this is functional requirement. See this functional requirement. So this is FRD. What is FRD? Functional requirement document. What does it contains? It contains functionality and features of an application. So this is how you're going to test your application. And this is how you need to write your test cases based on this. Okay. So this is not a BRD for GMO online, but we'll just see how how can we actually. This is for your understanding actually, not that this is a really FRD for this, but this is for your understanding. Okay, let's see here. Let's say if you are testing only this web page, right? There are a lot of things in this web page. Okay, let's see, compare. Let's compare here. Now here you say the prescriber first name maps to. So once this document shows up, you need to come up in your mind saying, okay, there is something called field, and there's something static text called first name. How do you know? So here you see name. See. That's why there's a field, field insets the box, the box with, and the static text called name. So, okay, good. So now I understand. Now there's a last name, okay. So here you have both in one. So there's nothing like last name here, okay. Address. So you have this address. Okay, good. You have this address as a static text. So that's what it means, okay. This address is a static text and it also contains a field value. Okay, good. It has field value and static text, so that's good. Next is city and so on. Okay, so this is how you need to write your test cases, not test cases based on the application. You are not always that lucky. Okay, you need to write based on this information provided in the document. So the documents, they write it as per their perspective. They might miss something, they might, okay. It might not be very accurate, but they still need to understand this, and we need to write based on this. Okay, so this is called FRD, functional requirement document. So what is FRD? It contains functionality. It's a high-level document which contains functionality and features of an application. Okay, so let's go to the next. There's something called SRS. So system specification. Okay, system requirement specifications. Let's see here. See. Okay, so this is how this document looks like. Okay, so whatever document you're taking, right? Any document you're taking, this index will be there. Okay, so anywhere this index is good because this helps you to find out which keyword you are exactly looking for. Okay, so that's the reason it's always starts with index and it contains all the features. So what is the description, what are the core features, what are additional features you need to see, and what is the non-function requirements, all this, it contains this SRS. So SRS is, and they also have some introduction. So why do really they need the SRS? Okay, this contains information about the more into hardware, hardware system information, right? Architecture point of view. Okay, it's like, okay, this has so many servers, how many access will you get, 4 devices, 10 devices, so on. So SRS is more for a architecture point of view. Okay, so this is really not for testers, not for developers. It's to understand the architect, and based on that you need to start working on it. So this is SRS. So it's again high level document, okay, which contains information about architect, information about the project. Okay, and there is something called PDM. Now let's talk about this PDM. Now, PDM is a physical data model. Okay, so let's quickly check this. So, what does it contain? It contains information about tables. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, tables. Okay. This is okay. So so normally, right? It really differs here. If you see this, so this is something like information. Okay, this is order table, order item, catalog item. Okay, good. So, now there is a little bit more in detail in this. So let's see here. Okay, so here you see this. So this this is just a little information on modeling on this, right? But really there is something called ER diagram, okay, entity relationship diagram, okay, and that contains all the information required for your testing actually, okay, because you might get confused. Is it OLTP database? Is it OLAP database? Or what we are actually doing with, are we using natural key? Are we using primary key? Are we going to use candidate key? So all those confusion, right, is eliminated once you see this ER diagram. Okay, so that is a separate diagram altogether. That is not nothing to do with PDM, but this has some information on PDM, this table architect view, right? How the table is designed and all those. Okay, so and that who does this have? And this ER diagram is normally you get from architect, ETL architect or viewer responsible, or database administrator. Now, database administrator won't give you. It's really not their job. But yeah, mostly the ETL architect guy will be having this information. You need to check them out, and really, it's not really. They don't really have it. It really has in the SharePoint. Okay, they'll just simply ask you, "Do you have access to SharePoint?" And they just go and get it. Nobody will give you. Okay, there's nothing like they will be giving you. It's like, are you getting or not? That's the thing. Okay, so this is PDM. So PDM is physical data model which contains information about table. Now that physical entity, okay, physical entity is table. And now there is also called something called LDM, which is logical data modeling, and it contains information about the logical entity. And here in this scenario, it's called view. Okay, so views, it contains all the information about the views, okay, how the views are organized, how the views are running through, okay, all those things it contains. Okay, so that's called logical LDM, okay, logical data modeling. Next we have HLD. So HLD is high level design, okay, and what does it really contain? So this contains information about, see normally it contains, it's like kind of call flows, okay, so that means it contains flow charts. So let's say, okay, let's take an example here, right? If you're, if you're testing some web services project, let's say you're testing some web services project, And so the way it works, right? If you know the web services, let's say you're calling for Bank of America, right? Whenever you take your phone, call for Bank of America. And now when you call them, you really are not placed in the customer care, right? Customer care doesn't get into the picture at the beginning. Now you go through all that, pre-recorded. That's called IVR, interactive voice response. Okay. So now you go one by one, right? If you answer yes, there's the next flow for that. If you answer no, then there is the next flow on that. Okay. Now if you answer yes, and then if you answer yes again, there is a next flow for that. Okay, so on. Okay. So once it's so that flow is called call flow. Okay, it's one after the other is going. So that all information is documented. It's called high level design. Okay, that's an example for IVR testing. So we want to do IVR, interactive voice response, and I want to do web services. So that's more, particularly on the web services project. So and next there is something called TDD, technical design document. Okay, let's say you are working in project, ETL project, right? Now there's something called job scheduling. Okay, there is job scheduling tools, a lot of job scheduling tools like Autosys, Tidal, etc. But Informatica also has its own job scheduling tool, so you don't need when you're using Informatica tool. But yeah, if you're using some third-party tools such as Autosys, then you want to make sure. Okay, so this because things might get complex when you're working on big data, a lot of things. Now you really want third-party tool to use it because no more Informatica, those things cannot handle this. Nicely because a lot of things goes on and you want a third party tool called Autosys. And what happens, so what is exactly that contains? It contains shell scripts, okay, shell scripts and how to trigger that, SQL queries and a lot of things. Now there's something called dependent jobs and independent jobs. So which job you need to kick first, which job you need to wait, and what is the automatic jobs, all those things. Those are all documented. It is called technical design documents. Okay, that's just an example. Okay, for TDD, technical design documents contains information about the jobs. Okay, independent jobs and dependent jobs, and which need to be kicked, which not to be kicked, which are automated and full load. Delta load and all this, how it's being handled in that. So all this is, shown in that TDD. Okay. So let's go to the next one. STM. STM is a source to target mapping document. Okay, so let's see here. Oops, yes. Mapping document. Sometimes it's very hard to find here. Okay, so here you go. So let's see here. These are various examples of mapping document. Okay, it can be different ways you can do it, but let's see. Okay, let's see here. Okay, good. Now this is something like, this is called STM, source to target mapping document. So what does it contains? So what exactly is this? So this contains a lot of information, and this is the most important thing to write your test cases, ETL test cases normally. Okay. Now, what does it contain? It contains information about the source and targets. Source, staging, if there is any staging information, of course, it will contain. And target, okay? What source you are using. Okay, not only that, source might contain different databases, different tables, to views, so on. Now, that is specified here very specifically here, okay? So let's say here, now let's work on, BDW. So what is BDW? It's a business data warehouse, okay? So that's what it means. BDW, EDW is enterprise data warehouse. Okay. So now they have this column name. Okay. So there's all this column name that now you're looking at the target database, and there's a BDW target column data type. What data type does this column has? And BDW target PK. PK is primary key. Okay. If you see here, this is one primary, 2, 3, 4, 6, and a lot of primary. Now, primary key is unique and not null. Here you don't see unique, right? Because there's so many. Now that's called a composite primary key. Okay. You can have multiple keys attached to one. Now that becomes really complex. That really becomes really complex once you move forward. Okay. So that's it. And then you have the source field. What is source field? Source data type and business rules. Okay, so this is called transformation logic. Now this is what you need to do is understand this, what this transformation logic contains, and based on this, you need to write your SQL. Okay. Normally this is done on target, that is staging, but here you see the source. Sometimes the rules are applied to source and they say no, this is not source, this is staging, and they say yeah, we are doing for source, not for source. Don't get confused. Whatever it is, okay, you need to do the business rule is always applied here. Okay, however it is, they want to do in source, that's fine. They want to do in target, that's too fine. They want to do in staging, that's also okay. Okay, so that is how source to BDW mapping rule. And if there's any remarks, you can hear and version. So all this you can add it. But these are the major, this is what it contains. It contains information about table, column, column data type, or the data type. No, this doesn't contain any row specific unless if you're you need some specific row and you're trying to use that, it contains. Otherwise, it has to do with the transformation logic. Okay, so this is what STM. Okay, source to target mapping document. Now let's go to the next one, that is test plan document. So what exactly is this test plan document? So again, test plan is a high-level document prepared by the QA lead. Okay, it's by the lead. Okay, just because it's it's prepared by the lead doesn't mean that you are not responsible. You need to give your inputs. Okay. Now it's not my job. You can't say that because this lead will be preparing it, but everyone has to give their inputs, like how we are going through this. Okay. So test plan is a high-level document which contains a lot of information such as features, what to be tested, features are not to be tested, what is the approach, suspension criteria and assumption requirements, test deliverables, testing tasks, responsibilities, etc. Okay, that's what it contains in the test plan. Okay, that's a high-level document prepared by the QA lead, and it contains information about this test plan document. Now let's go to the next one, test strategy document. So what is this test strategy? So it's also a high-level document prepared by the QA lead, and what does it contains? It contains test levels, roles and responsibilities, environment requirements, testing tools, test priorities, test groups, and so on. Okay. So normally people take this, incorporate, they take test plan and test strategy is one are the same, but technically it's not same, because test plan is, it's the approach you are doing, but test strategy is something which is like, how, if you get some issue, how are you going to proceed with an issue, right? Ignoring that issue, how are you going to move forward? So that's actually contains about the test strategy. Okay, the strategical type. Okay, plan is like approach. How is your approach on it? So that's how, but if people say it's both are same, so go with the flow. Don't have to argue that no, this is different, that is different. Okay, some people say okay, it is strategy and this plan is same. So you can go ahead with the flow. And next called test cases. So test cases, we know about it. We have written a lot of test cases, right? Now what does it contain? Test cases is a document prepared by the QA. Okay, it contains test case ID, objective, steps to perform, expected result, pass, fail, and comment. Okay, we know only two, right? The input, given input, or what is expected. So that is, to keep it simple, but normally you need to be elaborate. You need to elaborate these test cases. So that's how you need to say a lot of things. Okay, test case ID, objective, steps to perform, expected result, pass, fail, and comment. Okay, that's what this test cases contain. Let's go to the next pretty quick. Migration document. So what exactly is this migration document? So now let's say you have you got in the project, and the project is migration project. Now they were using a Teradata. Now they want to migrate to Teradata to Oracle, or there's some upgrading process going on. Now the Teradata SQL is different. Oracle SQL is different, right? Not only just Teradata, you have a lot of data from DB2, Java files, HTML, a lot of things are going on, right? Now, this specifically Teradata contains a lot of SQL. Let's say it's a lot of SQL, and Oracle has a different SQL. There has to be a Teradata guy who is working on it. There has to be an Oracle guy who is working on it, and you want to migrate whole data into Oracle. And the data, the way it's organized in Teradata, I cannot just directly copy and paste. That's really not the way to do it, because the way it's organized is completely different, and you cannot do that now. So if somebody says copy and paste, that's really not the answer. Okay, there's a lot of things that goes on. Okay, a lot of data cleansing, data morphing. So all this is actually documented in migration document. Okay, so let's say there's some some new guy has been hired, so he is supposed to know this. Okay, so we are going this migration project, and a lot of data is coming on. Okay, we are migrating this data. Then that's why they has to know this migration document. That's one of the reasons for having this document. Okay, any questions so far in all these documents? Okay, so no questions. Yeah, just go through these documents actually. Okay, which I'll be. You can go ahead, which is located here. Once you go to this, so today I'll be giving you access. So let's see. Okay, and so you can have this on dietary number 4. And once you go here, here you have all the information you have. Okay, test plan, test strategy. Okay, no, I didn't show you the test plan document, right? Let's see here. Now it's also similar. It contains index, which contains. Here we go. So what's who's the author for this, and what kind of testing are we doing, and compatible testing, and what are the environmental we are following up, and what are the staffing, a load testing, regression testing, and so on. Okay, so I'll be giving you homework on this one. So we'll be a little bit.
Yeah, I call it's okay.
Is everything okay?
That elevator was not working. Yeah,
okay.
And I came from that door, and that was also locked. Later on, I went and used next one.
Okay, I'm just muting it. Okay, if somebody is interested, they can unmute it, and you can talk if you have any questions. Okay, I'm just muting it because not everyone wants to hear who is talking, right? So okay, so let's move to the next one. STLC. Oops, sorry, SDLC, not STLC. We're not done with STLC. Okay, let's see here. Okay, any questions? No questions, right? So let's move. Okay. So you will be also having access to PowerPoint on this SDLC. It is all there in the Google Drive, but today you'll be getting this access. So what exactly is this SDLC? Okay, so the SDLC is software development life cycle. Now somebody asked me, like in some previous classes, like why don't you give me the access to SDLC? Okay, so this is not a software. Okay, so just wanted to make sure to everyone, this is not a software, just like Rally, just like Jira. This is not something like that. This is a framework. That means when you're going into the work, it's a procedure, or it's like a kind of process you follow. This is how you need to do. Once you have done this, this is the work. So this is more for a management perspective, not as a QA, not as a developer, not as an architect, not the management perspective. Okay, so but since we are into that system, we need to understand this, okay, because we are not going to change any SDLC or agile or waterfall methodology. We are trying to understand what is it, and we need to work based on that. So that's what SDLC means. It's a framework, okay. So don't expect any saying that, hey, are you giving access to SDLC? There's nothing called access. This because this is nothing software. This is framework, okay. So let's see here. See here. It's a framework. SDLC is a framework that describes the activities performed in each stage of a software development. Let's say you're developing a software and there is a process to follow it. It's just because you're developing a software, you cannot just develop a software. You cannot say that, because you need to follow some standards, some procedures, some framework. So now that is called SDLC. Okay, so that's what it means. Okay. Now there's a waterfall methodology which is derived from SDLC process. Okay, let's see here. Now why it's called waterfall model? Because it's kind of waterfall, right? So if you see waterfall, it goes from top to bottom, but it never comes bottom to top, does it? No, right? That's the reason they call it waterfall. It's a similar process here. Okay. Now the flow is from top to bottom. And if you found any issue here, you need to again go from top to bottom. You cannot bypass this some steps and you can go. You can't do that here. That's the disadvantage of this waterfall model. Okay, let's see here. Actually, there is people who are interested. There is like 10 phases in SDLC. Okay, there's a lot of phases, so we'll stick into only 6 phases. Okay, if you're interested, you can go ahead and work on 10 phases. Okay, if you're really interested and a lot of things, you can go ahead. So here I'll stick to only 6 phases. Okay, so we'll work on this only 6 phases. So first thing is requirement gathering. So this job is more for a business analyst. Okay, now business analyst, talks to a developer, talks to everyone, gets the requirements, gets a lot of information, puts it and document it. Okay, and there's a lot of things will be going on here. Okay, so if you're having meeting, you have to see, okay, how the requirements are, what changes should be done. This is the requirements, and what are the issues in the documents, and all those things actually will be discussed in the requirements tree. Now next comes a design. Now this is a job of an architect guy. Okay, and the architect actually works on this, how the design should be, what is the data we are coming on, how many data standards we need to follow, how the data will be moving from one point to another, and so on. Okay, so all this is discussed in the design phase. Next, there's the implementation phase. In this phase, now this is the job of a developer. Developer implements this. Okay, there's all the coding work, does all the coding and works on the issues and so on, is the implementation phase. There is something called test. So this is where we belong. We execute the test cases, whatever we have written for, and test the application, is it good or not, and we open the issues if there's any. That happens in testing phase. Now this is called installation phase. Now, in this installation phase, this is more for a middleware team who will be working with, you have to work, or you may work with middleware team, so that they are, taking all the code and putting into production data. So there's a lot of installation goes on, a lot of things happen because the code should not break. Okay, a lot of things should be done there. So normally QA lead is involved in this coordination, lot of coordination and lot of work is involved in installation phase. Some middleware team, okay, who will be working with you to make sure the whole code is, put into production. Now there's the maintenance phase. In this maintenance phase is, here you have less involvement, your maintenance. Normally for senior people, senior QA lead or senior QA are involved here. If there is any issue goes on, let's really quickly figure it out how to how to um, solve it. If the production should we really require this, we need to move the data into testing environment and so on. So that happens in the maintenance phase. Okay. So there are 6 phases. Now let me ask you a question. So as a tester, as a QA tester, where does our work starts from? Can anyone answer? As a QA point of view, where does our job starts from in a waterfall? Can anyone answer?
Well, I think as soon as the development is done, so basically every, I mean, like, not when complete development is done, but basically when every maybe a sprint, after each sprint, we got to test the the proper development part. That's what I think.
Okay. So if in that case, if you are thinking that it starts only development or testing phase, so what are the 2 phases you will be doing? You'll be sitting idle. So you are so you basically are saying you'll be idle in this 2 phase.
Yeah, after like over here, after implementation, like whatever the development stage, that's where the testing part starts, I believe.
Okay. So so if you are idle in the 2 phases, then but you are getting paid for all this. You are not getting paid for being idle, right?
Yes.
So as a tester, your job starts right from the requirement phase.
Okay.
Okay. So I mean, anyway. So even if you're a developer, even if it's architect, even if it's a business analyst, even if it's a scrum master, whoever it is, okay, your job or anyone's job starts right from the requirements. They have their own responsibilities. They will be doing. So as a tester, what will be here? So you will be involved in the meetings, lot of meetings. You will be discussing a lot of things here. Okay, let's say now business analyst came up with this requirement. So they said, okay, this is the requirements. Now you need to, okay, you might be, not really involved, you not have complete knowledge on how it's going, but mostly QA lead will be talking in this, saying that, what, we already have this environment, we are working on 3 environments. There is no environment here available at this time. How are we going to proceed with these requirements? Okay, they'll put a question on everyone. So whoever is responsible in the project, whoever is not, they will put a, we really don't have this. How are we going to proceed with this? Okay, so that will be question that will be raising. Okay, because we have blocked, we need one more environment. How are we going to do? Okay, all these issues, there will be a lot of issues. Okay, so here, okay, now there is an issue. Let's say as a tester, let's say you found some issue in the requirement, in the document itself, you found some issue. You need to open a ticket, right? You open ticket and assign to the business analyst. Okay, this is the document which really, is, we have issue with this. We cannot really proceed with it, or open ticket. Now they will solve, they will come up with a new requirement, come up with. So this is all testing work, right? You are testing something else here. Although you are testing the requirements, but still, you need to, as a QA lead. Okay, it's more for a QA lead point of view, if not tester, but to get more knowledge on what's going on with the project, more knowledge on how the project is moving, you are involved in the meetings. So that's the important thing. You'll be involved in the meetings, and okay, this is going on. How are you going to test? What are the scenarios are we coming up? So this is called brainstorming. Okay, brainstorming involved will be involving a requirement phase. Now let's say, so we are done with this. We found some issues in the requirements. We opened some, defects. Okay, we opened some defects and we, assigned to business analyst saying that okay, this requirement is not really appropriate. You need to change this, and we are having some issues with, you know, um, environment. So we need to figure it out that and all those things. Once you have done that, next design phase. Let's move to the next design phase. So here was the job of a tester. Now, here we are going to write the documentation part. Test plan document, test strategy document, test cases, all this we have to do. So we get some time here. So, we do in the design phase. Although this is a job of a architect, we are still working here. Okay, we are not idle. Okay, let's move to the next implementation phase. Now, in this implementation phase, so let's say we didn't have enough time because a lot of documents to work on, test plan, test strategy. Let's say we are working on test cases. Now, here is where you write your test cases. Okay, here when the developer is coding, simultaneously you are working on, because requirements, everyone has the requirements. Okay, it's available in SharePoint. You download it, view the requirements, start writing your test cases. That happens in the implementation phase. Testing phase, here is where you execute your test cases. Okay, now installation phase, here you will be doing a lot of coordination with middleware team who is working with you for move the project. Okay, I'm sorry, move the code. Okay, a lot of things, a lot of jobs will need to be kicked on, and a lot of work to be done. You're coordinating with them to make a smooth move from the code from test environment to production. That's the installation phase, and this is more for a QA lead point of view, but still you'll be involved if you're senior QA. Okay, you're still involved in coordinate with those team to make sure it's a smooth transaction. Then maintenance. Okay, maintenance, unless you're a senior or QA lead, you're really not involved, because this is more for a senior people who, let's say there is some defects that found in production, and that's really issue. So if there's some issue here, so you need to see how you quickly can fix, or you can fix in production itself and figure it out. So that's what maintenance. Okay, so as a QA, you're working right from requirements. Okay, you might be opening some issues from the requirements. You might also have some brainstorming. You will be involved in the meeting. You will be involved in a lot of knowledge. You will get some lot of knowledge there. Okay, how the project is moving. This is the issues we are having with this current project. If we are moving these requirements, how are we going to work on this? A lot of brainstorming goes on, and then we work on documents, then work on test cases, and then execute the test cases. Okay, so this is how it's normally it works. But again, we were talking about sprint, so that is completely different. So this methodology, this is waterfall methodology. This we don't have sprints here. We'll talk about this later by tomorrow. In this, we'll talk about the sprint. So there's nothing to do with sprint in this scenario. This is waterfall methodology. There's nothing called sprint. There's nothing called agile. So this is completely different. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so although you might, to be only your job is only this testing, but you are supposed to involve on this and coordinate with them and make sure it is smooth. Okay. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. So it has advantages and disadvantages. Advantage is see the more better advantage what I see in waterfall methodology compared to agile is, see, when you want quality is more important than cost, then you work on waterfall. And I think that's really very good advantage, and really it's good because that's how it is actually, because you want to make sure quality is very important. Here's a 6 months project, you're really working every day, and and you're going into it, and so you're really working on quality actually. Okay, so that's where the waterfall is important. Okay, so major important strength, it's called quality is more important than cost. The agile is the other way. cost is more important than quality. You're really working on cost. 6 months project, you're squeezing into 1 month. The quality is really decreasing, drastically decreasing. Okay, now a lot of issues will be showing up in agile. Okay, so that's a different thing altogether. But this is the strength of waterfall. And there's also disadvantages that because you have to know all the requirement at first. If you found any requirement, then you have to again go back to the requirement page and again come one by one. Okay, so that's the issue with this. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. That's V-shaped SDLC model. Now all the 6 phases remains same. Okay, remains same, but the way you have to organize this is different in this V-shape. Okay, the way you're organizing the work is different. Here in V-shape, you're doing 2 things simultaneously. That is requirement planning and production operation. So you're doing 2 things at once, and specification analysis and systematic testing you're doing again. So that's the reason we call this V-shaped SDLC model, because 2 things you're doing simultaneously and it's coming up with like V-shaped. So that's called V-shaped SDLC model. There's one more methodology. So these are methodologies. So what are we talking about is all methodologies. Okay, this can be represented in various ways. Okay, the framework called SDLC can be represented in various ways, such as waterfall, such as V-shaped. Let's see the other. Now this RAD, you see this RAD is actually the part of the agile. Okay, there's something called incremental SDLC model. Okay, now this 6 phases again. Now this is like incremental. That means you have this verification, validation. Okay. Now you do specifically for that. So why these many methodologies, right? So these are so many methodologies, and you may not use always all this in one project. You might different project has different methodology. Okay, but thing is these are all implemented based on the project and how the project is. Sometimes large projects, small projects. So that's the reason all these methodologies are implemented. Okay, and let's go to the next one. So this has its own advantages and disadvantages. Now there's something called spiral SDLC model. Now again, this is divided into 4 quadrants. One is the objectives, resolve issues, identify and resolve issues, develop and plan the next phase. So here you go, one after the other, and move into spiral way. So that's why it's called spiral SDLC model. Okay, let's go to the next one. So agile, so we'll work on is agile tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I'll take whole class for the agile and we'll see how we are. So this has so many subdivisions for agile. Okay, so these are all because agile is a pretty broad term. Okay, so agile is iterative and incremental process, but they really don't know what you are working on. Is it Scrum? Is it extreme programming? Is it adaptive software development, or is it a Kanban? This is something called Kanban, so on. Okay, and rapid application development. So it's based on different process. So these are subdivisions of agile. So let's see here. Okay, so that's about SDLC. Any questions in SDLC? Let's see. We have STLC. Let's talk about this STLC. So it's called STLC2, right? So SDLC is more for a development perspective. I mean, not really. Everyone has to know, but STLC is more related to testing perspective. Now you cannot go and ask to developers what is STLC. The guy won't tell you even if it knows. Okay. So that's how, testing is more this testing hierarchies. You have this tester, QA analyst, QA tester. Okay, you have QA lead, QA manager, QA director. Okay, that's hierarchy. That kind of hierarchy is actually testing lifecycle. From there, it gets all the information. Okay, so what does it contains? It contains information about, okay, test plan preparation, test case design, test execution and test log preparation, defect tracking, and test report preparation. So these are 5 phases of STLC. Now let's see if so we have actually worked on this. If you notice, we have already worked on this. Okay. Let's see here if we open this rally here pretty quick. Okay, so first test plan preparation. So where you prepare all the high level documents, okay, and test plan, test strategy documents, all this is being prepared. So that's one phase. Next phase, test case design. So if you see here, we written what test cases. So that's what means by test case design. You see this test case, okay. We have written test cases, right? So that's called test case design. Now test execution and test log preparation. So that means you have executed this test case. So if you click on this expand, you see this option successfully. So this is called test execution. Okay, and test log is like you're putting some log, some information like this document kind of log, right? That you're preparing. So that's called test case. Test case design, test case execution, and test log preparation. So defect tracking. The defect tracking is something like you open defects, right? You have opened defects and you want to figure it out which defect have you opened, what are more defects, okay? So that's called defect tracking. And test report preparation. So we have already talked about this. You go to the reports, and if you want, so but this is more for a lead point of view, report preparation. Go ahead and click on reports, whichever you're interested in, and you get the reports. Okay, so that's called test report preparation. So these are the 5 stages of STLC: test plan, test case design, test execution and test log preparation, defect tracking, and test report preparation. So we have covered all this. Okay, so just an overview of STLC. Any questions in this? So this is what test manager, test lead, test engineer. Okay. So we'll talk about this defect status. Again, we already worked on this. We'll just have this overview of how we are going to do this. Okay. So what is the critical and what is the major defects? Okay. No one has any questions. Let's move to the next one. Okay. Bug life cycle. Let's see. There is something called bug life cycle. Yeah, bug life cycle. Yeah. This always gives you wrong data. Okay, so here, let's say you have opened a bug. Okay, once you open a bug, you have to make sure it is an open status, not a new status. Okay, you have opened a new, it will be new, but you have to change it to open status. Now, once you open this, you have to assign it to someone. Assign to whom? Developer or other architect guy or any business analyst or anyone who is responsible, owner of the defect. Once you assign it, okay, now there's one more, actually there should be one more block called fixed. Once it's fixed, okay, the developer changes the status to fixed and you need to test. Okay, once you test, you verify and you close it. So this is one way. Now let's say if in a sign stage, okay, now developer says, no, I don't have time to work on this, we'll worry about this because I'm already working on a lot of projects. Then it gets deferred to the next release. That's why it's deferred. It's going to next release and they will be working on later, not now. Okay. Now at one point of time, developer might think, okay, this is not a defect, this is working fine in my system, then they reject the defect. Okay, that is one scenario. Once you get into test, you found no, it is not really fixed, you reopen it, and you again assign it. Okay, now this time you want to make sure developer knows what actually the issue is, because once it is fixed, and developer is always expected, they are all expected this is fixed and there is no more work involved in this. But if you are really giving them work again, you really need to have a good explanation for that. Okay, you need to, maybe you need to go to the developer and show really what's going on. So that's why you have to reopening the defect. Okay, because developer won't take this because once it's fixed, because you're giving more work. You're giving more work on which is already done. You really need some good explanation on this. Okay, need to really come up, not just screenshots, not that that doesn't work at this stage. You really want to talk to the developer and really show your screen what's happening. Okay. Once you do it, again you assign it. Now that time developer might decide, okay, this is really not my job. This is really job of some other guy. Let me assign it to him, or you assign to that guy. Okay, so that's how you want to do with the reopening status, because reopening is something which you're really not doing every time. Okay, that's something which you need to avoid a lot, because you cannot give more work once it's fixed. Okay, and developer won't really accept that. If you want, really you need to go ahead, talk to him, saying that, hey, show what's happening, this is what you're testing it, and you keep getting it. It might be something that kind of is non-reproducible bug. Something is a non-reproducible bug. In that case, you want to show that. Okay, and okay, so this bug life cycle, right? Let's say what we were actually talking about was here. Let's say we have opened some defects, right? Let's see here what we were actually talking about. So we were talking about. Oops, let's see. In the defect section. So we were really talking in the defect state, okay, so far. This is one that is submitted, we have opened it. Once it opened, it gets fixed. Once developer gets fixed, it gets fixed and you want to retest it and close it. So this is what so far we are talking about. This is called bug life cycle. Okay, the state what we have here is what we are talking about. Okay. Any questions so far? So tomorrow, we'll discuss about this agile. We'll see what is agile. So this is a methodology. So this is HDLC is a methodology, and agile is also a methodology where we'll discuss in detail. Because here it's where it gets all those things, sprints, sprint, and we'll talk one by one. Okay, so we'll talk from responsible people, what their jargons, or the technical term what you use in agile, all those things. Okay, we'll talk about that and we'll cover whole class for agile. Meanwhile, you can just work in Rally and get used to this. So one tool is good. If you are good in one tool, that's good. If you're but it's still good to know other tools too, because just one is not enough, because whenever you're putting in resume you issue a lot of information, right? You work in this, you work in that, this, that. In that case, you really have to know, at least you need to have some knowledge so that you can able to talk on that. Even if you don't able to talk, at least you will not have issues while working. Okay. Most important thing is you need to talk, because giving an interview is a whole different thing, and working that place is a completely different thing. Okay. So you are expected supposed to be very fluent and knowledgeable, very knowledgeable on these tools. Okay. Not just tools, but whole process. So there is one more homework that I'll be giving you. So people who have not done have a chance to do. Let's see if this site is working. So so you have to test this application, web application, and come up with test cases and as well as defects. Okay, this is the application, and you need to go through all this and come up with issues. Okay, so if no one have any questions, can we close this class for today? Okay, thank you guys.